Hello, my name is Greg Thomas, and I'd like to take a moment to introduce myself personally, professionally, and my experiences as an author up to this point. I have been happily married for 35 years, and my wife and I together raised two tremendous sons. Professionally, I have been a sales representative for just shy of 40 years, and that profession has been very, very satisfying. It's allowed me to go places and do things and meet people that otherwise I would never have had the opportunity to do. That being said, there was always one thing in my life that was missing. Uh, Even as a young teenager, I always had aspirations to be an author. I wanted to write. I wanted to have my work published, and ultimately, would have loved to have seen it on the screen. Um, so finally, in 2016, after a few years of writing, I published my first book, Raindrops, under the pseudonym Lexington Justice. Once it was published, and we had a few reviews done, which came back very, very positively, um, I was inundated with emails and phone calls from many, many companies offering me all kinds of opportunities. I was invited to a book to screen pitch fest in New York City, which I attended. And that was probably the best thing that I did because I quickly found out that although in the discipline that I work in as a sales rep, I'm very knowledgeable. I found out that when it comes to the book to screen transition or process, uh, I know nothing about the industry. Don't know the vernacular. I don't know the narrative or the language, and basically, I had no idea where to turn or where to go or what to do. But I continually kept receiving these emails and these phone calls promising me all kinds of good things. And I found out very quickly that many of these were, in fact, nothing more than, I don't want to call them scams, but they were looking for an opportunity to make money, to do, to provide services for me that I knew wouldn't happen. So I quickly developed a very cynical or skeptical attitude towards these organizations that were continually trying to contact me. I got to a point where I just stopped reading the emails and taking the phone calls. Up until recently, um, like I said, I just maintained a very negative outlook. But I received an email from Kit Jones of Omnibus Works. And as I read this and I brought up Omnibus Works website and looked it over, I thought there's something different about this group. These people don't come across as all the other um, attempts that I had received up to that point. So I responded to Kit's email, and we exchanged emails a few times, and then finally we had a telephone conversation. And I have to say, I was very, very impressed with Kit's position. It wasn't a high pressure sale. It wasn't like a pushy back you in a corner. It was more of a where do you want to be and what do we need to do to help you get there? So after a few conversations with Kit, she put me in contact with Ed McDonald, or Director Ed McDonald, with Omnibus Works. And Ed and I had a telephone conversation, and I have to say, after that conversation, I was very, very optimistic and excited. And believe me, I am a hard sell. I am the guy that looks for all the negatives. And what just jumped out at me was there were no negatives in the conversations and the emails between Kit Jones and Ed McDonald and me. So we discussed things more, and they explained to me the process that they would put me in touch with producers where I could have a one-on-one with these individuals via Zoom session to explain my work, to describe my work, in hopes that someone would have an interest and want to pursue. Well, that very thing happened. I'm in the process right now where one company requested a copy of my manuscript. Ed McDonald forwarded it to these individuals, and they are reviewing it. And Director Ed and Kit both are very, very optimistic about what the future holds for this work. With this being said, none of this would have happened without Omnibus Works. Their whole team, Kit, Ed McDonald, there's a tremendous amount of integrity, honesty. They're transparent. When you communicate, when you send them an email or leave them a message, it's not days or weeks before you get a response. It may be hours at the most, and you get some kind of feedback or an answer to your question. The other thing that really, really impressed me and sold me on Omnibus Works was Omnibus Works created what's called a pitch deck for my book. When I read the pitch deck, the detail in their work tells me there's no way they would have known the things that they knew and what they put in their pitch deck unless they read my book cover to cover. So they took the time to read this and discuss this and put together this very, very detailed pitch deck that I was so happy to receive. And this is something that these producers have also been forwarded, so it just reinforces or improves the possibilities that someone will, in fact, want to pursue or go further with my work. Again, Omnibus Works sets themselves apart from all the others that I've had any interaction with. I keep mentioning Kit and Ed McDonald. They were my main contacts. You can't ask for a better working relationship than what we've developed over this short period of time. There's no doubt in my mind that they are genuinely concerned, and their efforts are to get me and my work to the next level and to ultimately get me to that point where I want to be and see my work either as a series or on the screen. For anyone out there who is an author, who has written a book, has had it published, and is looking for someone to help them get to the next level, by all means, get engaged with Omnibus Works. Find Kit Jones, find Ed McDonald. These people will get you where you want to be. These people will be there for you to help you along the way. I have learned so much from these two about this industry, things that I never knew before, and these things have done nothing but enhance my opportunities as we go forward. Again, I wish every author out there all the success. I hope you get to where you want to be. But if you really, really, really want to increase the chances of this happening, you need to reach out or contact Omnibus Works. They are second to none. And I keep repeating myself, but I just can't say enough about this group. They are the top shelf when it comes to doing what they do. And they have the contacts with the producers. They're well established. I've done research on Ed McDonald and the company, and I don't think you'll find a more solid group to work with. Again, I wish you the best, and hopefully sometime down the road, many of us can be somewhere and we can discuss what we think about each other's movies and the success that we have as a result of working with Omnibus Works. Again, thank you for your time.